Welcome, Rope Breakers, to another episode of Rope Break Radio. This is episode number 3. If you missed the first two, they're right here on YouTube, so don't feel bad. You can catch them right after this episode. I want to thank those of you who tuned in. If you're new to this show, I am your host, Matt Donato, and this show is for the fans, by the fans. I'll say this every single week because it always holds true. Just like the brand Rope Break Wrestling, for the fans, by the fans. That means that I want this show to entertain you. I want it to be the best podcast out there. And I can do that with your help. So let me know what I can do to improve this show. Send me a tweet on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling, at Real Matt Donato. You can contact me on Facebook at facebook.com/ropebreakwrestling. And always check out the site, ropebreakwrestling.com. Bookmark us. That way you're never without WWE news and rumors, and you're never without this podcast, which quite frankly is pretty damn awesome in my opinion. Guys, I'm enjoying this so far. I hope that you enjoyed the last episode. There are a lot of things to cover this week. The rumors weren't too deep, but there is still a lot of stuff that I would like to cover. Stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw, which, by the way, you can always get my full summary on my thoughts about any Monday Night Raw by watching React After Raw, hosted by Rope Break's own Alec Kozubski, which features me, Randy Hill, and on special occasions, Aussie. You can always watch that every single week immediately following Monday Night Raw. So tune right into YouTube. You should just subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you don't got to come looking for us. You'll know exactly where we are. And tune right in. You can get my full summary. So if you don't get exactly what you're looking for as far as Monday Night Raw goes right here on Before the Bell, you can always tune in to React. I'll give you my full thoughts on the show. As for today, there are a few things that I would like to touch on about Monday Night Raw, but there are also a few rumors, and we're not going to spend any more time plugging anything. I'm going to get right into the show. And the first rumor that I would like to talk about, which is actually pretty interesting enough, is drug use in the WWE. Now, obviously, the WWE has a tattered past of drug use, anabolic steroids, and even harder drugs, heroin, cocaine, things of that nature. Now, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter recently put out a report stating that he has sources within the WWE who tells him that wrestlers of today's day and age are still doing steroids. But they're getting away with it because it's not being detected by drug tests. He said that he went to one of the shows, one of the house shows, and realized that the guys look a lot bigger and a lot, they look more like they use steroids, in person than they do on TV. They look more enhanced. And he talked to some people backstage, and they gave him information, and pretty much what they were saying is that, yes, we do steroids, some of us, and the way that we get past it is what they do, according to Dave Meltzer, is they stack, which in the bodybuilding world means they take a high level of HGH and they take a low level of testosterone, and they stack them on a Wednesday. That way, when it comes drug testing time, it's out of their system and it can't be detected. So these guys are getting away with doing anabolic steroids. This is something that isn't new to the WWE. Like I said, I mean, they've had, like I said, a tattered past. Steroids were a huge part, and it's become a lot more frowned upon. Obviously, WWE is really strict nowadays about their drug policies. If they weren't, then they wouldn't have to be sneaking in steroids like they're doing. There haven't been too many suspensions, the last one being Ricardo Rodriguez, who ended up getting fired for that. and then prior would be Randy Orton. But other than those two, there haven't really been any significant cases. So, my question to you guys is, first and foremost, what do you think about steroid use in the WWE? Obviously, and this is going to bring up a lot of controversy because this name always does, but obviously with Chris Benoit and his steroid use in the WWE and his his death and pretty much being determined that steroids did end up playing a factor. Whether that's true or not, that's what's being said. So do you guys think that steroids being used in the WWE is really truly a big deal? Because I know in a lot of other places, UFC, boxing, there are still guys who use steroids, and some of them are able to get past it. But there are a lot of people who don't think it's that big of a deal. They think that just makes steroids legal, and then it's fair. I mean, that's a lot of people have that stance. So I'm wondering what you guys think. This is a completely different business. This isn't a real sport. And before I get some keyboard warriors wanting to knock down my door and rip my throat out, yes, it's a sport, but it's not. It's scripted. We're going to get that out of the way. Wrestling is scripted. It's not real. And if you don't know that by now, you're a jabroni, and you need to go check yourself into the SmackDown Hotel. Either that or you're a child. But you need to get with the 21st century. Wrestling is not real anymore, guys. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But steroids, in a setting that's not left up to chance or skill, it's predetermined. Does using steroids really matter? Obviously, for overall health, there's a lot of controversy in that department. Does it affect the health? Does it really damage the heart? And I mean, and there are a lot of people who would make cases for all the wrestlers who have passed away, saying it was their steroid use. But if you look at the list of guys who have used and have died within the WWE who have used steroids, you can also see that their past also includes a lot of harder drugs, such as cocaine, heroin, like I said before. So was it the steroids? That's difficult to say. You can't really determine whether or not steroids played a factor. I mean, there are plenty of guys who've played baseball, football, who have done steroids, and I mean, they're not dead. So, I mean, I would wonder what you guys would think. Do you think that steroid use in the WWE being banned, do you think that's kind of pointless? And, do you think, and if you think that there should be a ban on steroids, and if you think they're completely okay with that, do you think that they should initiate randomized testing? Because obviously they have the pattern down. They have the schedule down of when they're going to be tested, so they know that they can skip it. If they do, random testing, it just makes sense that this would kind of clear up the problem. You don't know when it's going to come. You're less likely to try to risk that, especially if you're a lower talent. I mean, obviously, if you're a guy like Randy Orton, you're going to get a few chances because, well, you're Randy Orton. But if you're a guy like Ricardo, you're probably going to get fired. So a lot of the low guys aren't going to take that chance. It just makes sense to me. I'm almost wondering if WWE doesn't do randomized testing because, well, we're trying to save face with the public media and not look like a company who endorses steroids, but we're not really going to say something if you end up using them. Obviously, Ricardo's kind of came out and became a little bit public, so they kind of had to do some cleanup, whereas Randy Orton's, they made it look like he got a slap on the wrist. Didn't really get punished. He kind of got suspended. But I'm kind of wondering if, in some cases, WWE is still trying to perpetrate the use of steroids. If they're, by not randomizing the drug tests, and kind of keeping it kind of lenient in a sense, because obviously before they got caught, they were all for using steroids. Juice up, who cares? And then they got caught, and they're like, "Oh well, you know what? It is terrible. I can't believe our wrestlers are using steroids. We had no idea." You had plenty of idea. I'm sure Vince bought some of it for his guys. I mean, I'm sure he juices up now. You know, give that guy a drug test. I'd love to see that. But leave a comment in the description on YouTube. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Um, I personally don't think it's a huge deal, especially within the WWE. As far as health concerns, there's not enough um, proof out there that tells me that steroids are that damaging. Um, but I mean, in today's day and age, there are so many ways to get built to gain mass and muscle that you really truly don't need steroids unless you're in a pinch. So I mean, it's not like you're trying to get over on your opponent. So I'm not necessarily. And here's the funny thing: the list of guys that are listed to have to be using steroids, um, or have used it and recall obviously Randy Orton. But one of the guys that caught my eye on the list was WWE SmackDown announcer Tony Chimmel, which makes me wonder how legitimate this article really is, because why does Tony Chimmel need steroids? I mean, maybe he has a health condition and it's a different kind of steroid, but I'm thinking not. But it also does not look like he's using steroids. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. I would be kind of curious on why Tony Chimmel's in that mix. Maybe he's tired of being bullied by the WWE. But you know what? I'm going off on a tangent on that. What the hell? Why does everybody bully poor Tony Chimmel? That poor guy. He takes a beating. I don't understand it. If you ever watch, after Raw segments on YouTube or whatnot, it's just sad. The poor guy is always getting picked on. Maybe he decided, you know what, I'm sick of being called fat, because it's always about his weight. It's always about him being out of shape and pudgy. And in my opinion, he's actually my favorite announcer. I think he sounds more professional than whatever the guy's name is. I don't even remember the guy's name on Raw. That's how much I don't like him. I can picture his face. I just don't like the way he announces. Not a huge fan of Lillian Garcia, but I really like Tony Chimmel. I think he sounds the best, but obviously they don't think that. And apparently they don't really care for the guy. Maybe he was just trying to fit in with the crowd. But I just thought that was kind of funny. Tony Chimmel's taking steroids. But seriously, whatever. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on that. So, like I said, leave a comment in the description. And kind of moves me on to my next topic. And this kind of fits into Monday Night Raw. And some of the stuff I touched on React. Like I said, if you want me to go further in depth on these things, then you got to check out React After Raw every single week. They're always on YouTube, so if you cannot catch them live, then go back and watch them after the next day while you're at work, bored. You finish all your work at work and you're just sitting there trying to think of what to do next. Grab your phone, go on a computer, watch React After Raw. You won't regret it, I promise. But I kind of want to talk about Rusev versus Big Show for a minute. Because I'm actually a Rusev fan. I do like the guy, and I say this religiously. I really truly believe that he has the most authentic heat out of every heel in the business right now. He's one of the top heels right now in the business because his heat is authentic. People just love to hate him. However, that's how he started. It's starting to get to a point where people, the heat that he got before, it's starting to turn into heat that's just pure boredom. People are tired of seeing this guy. I'm tired of seeing this guy, and I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think his in-ring ability for his size is pretty spectacular. The things that he can do, he's pretty athletic. But I feel like they're spending way too much time pushing him with the same level guys. And what I mean by that are guys who don't have really much of a career to begin with anymore, or have never had one really. He beats Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger before that lost to Bo Dallas. Or not Bo Dallas, excuse me, Adam Rose. So what's so amazing about that? He hasn't really beaten anybody incredible. He beat Big E Langston, not that incredible. He beat Swagger, not that incredible. He beat Mark Henry twice, still not that incredible because Mark Henry hasn't done it. They didn't build any of these guys up to really seem like a threat. If you know you're going to go into this thing, the other guy needs to look tough. Because Rusev also, when Rusev beats him, it needs to look like, it needs to be sold as this huge victory. I cannot believe Rusev was able to beat this guy. Instead of saying, I cannot believe this match took that long to get over. Now can I go take a piss break? I mean, these matches have been terrible. And I said it before, especially with the Mark Henry match. I was interested in seeing that match on Monday Night Raw, not in a pay-per-view. I do not think that that was pay-per-view quality, and, just goes to show, go rewatch Night of Champions, and, I mean, you can see it definitely was not pay-per-view quality. It wasn't a terrible match, and if had that been, like, the match before the main event on Raw, and they really showcased it as this huge match, I would have been way more interested. If they had built Mark Henry up to really seem like a threat, I would have been way more interested, and his victory would have meant so much more. But it's those little wasted opportunities that are starting to pile up, and it's just stretching out this build. Hell, I'm a traditionalist. I'm all for a slow build. I love it. I like when things take their time, but this is getting ridiculous, guys. I mean, get onto it. I mean, we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's just like, can you get to it already? Somebody's got to beat him. We get that, but now it's just taking way too long. And I'm usually the patient one. I'm usually getting mad at the wrestling community that, takes things for granted. They'll watch a really great match and, so technical and amazing, and they'll just rip it apart and say, it was just way too slow and this. And I get pissed off at that. Like, you need to be patient. Your attention span is like the size of a hamster. But, I mean, for me, I am usually patient, and I enjoy those types of matches. But this is just getting ridiculous, like I said. And, now that he's beaten Big Show, or Mark Henry, now he's moving on to Big Show. It's like, that's a match I want to see even less than Mark Henry versus Rusev. I don't want to see Big Show. That's a guy. I like the Big Show, but that's a guy who really doesn't belong in the wrestling business anymore as far as being a talent who does anything remotely resembling good. I guess what I'm trying to say is, he's not a guy who really belongs in that main event spotlight. That's what I'm trying to say. He is more of a guy who should take a Jericho type role, but he should be limited to Monday Night Raw only. He shouldn't be doing pay-per-views because, let's face it, yes, for his size, I've always been the advocate of Big Show, saying that yes, he doesn't move around like Rey Mysterio, but you cannot expect that out of a guy who's 7'1". You can't expect that. 7'1", 486 pounds. He lost weight, so he's probably 450. Whatever. You cannot expect that out of a guy like him. He's way too big to do things like that. And for his size, he moves around so damn well. He's the best big guy that the WWE has ever had. So I'm going to get that out of the way right now. He's my favorite big guy. I really like Big Show. But, I think his career is at a point where he's not going to gain anything by beating people. There's no point of putting him over anymore. And, and he's not at a state anymore where he can really put on amazing matches. Not that he ever put on incredibly amazing matches anyway, but, I mean, it's even more so now that he's not going to be able to put on 5-star matches. And that's what Rusev needs right now. He needs to keep people's attention and say, I want to see the next Rusev match, because I know it's going to be incredible. And we haven't really gotten that. We have not had a spectacular match out of Rusev, and it's not even Rusev's fault. It's the opponents that have been picked and placed in front of him. I would much rather see Big Show on Monday Night Raw facing Rusev. Rusev can beat Big Show, and then leave it at that. I mean, I'm not really interested in seeing this match. I'd be more interested to see it for free because it's like, you know what? If I don't like this, I can always turn the channel, get Rusev over, have him put the accolade on Big Show, which is going to be tough because he could barely do it with Mark Henry. It's going to be probably weird. And I'm just afraid Big Show is going to beat him, and that's going to be such a waste. The guy who beats Rusev needs to be a guy who's going to be put over. I'm just not interested in this match. His promo on Raw, which is kind of hokey and pandering to the crowd, and I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't like that type of promo work, where you constantly just try to get the fans to laugh. Everything he said was fake because he was trying too hard to get the fans to cheer for him. It was noticeable to me, at least. I just didn't care for it. And then the one thing that I did say, and I said this on React, the one thing that I really enjoyed and pretty much stole that segment from me was when Rusev got on the mic. I've been an advocate for Rusev's mic abilities. They're raw. They're real. They remind me somewhat of Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar gets on the mic, and Aussie has said this too. Me and Aussie talk about this all the time. People constantly get on Brock Lesnar about him having terrible mic skills. I completely disagree. I don't think Brock Lesnar has terrible mic skills. I think he has real mic skills. It's not acted like The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena. When he gets on the mic, it sounds as if he were talking directly to you. There's no acting involved. There's no thinking involved. He just says what needs to be said. And that makes it that much more realistic. When you hear him speak, you believe it. That's the feeling I got from Rusev. Because we don't hear from him often. When he does speak, it means something. It holds value. I think they need to do that a little bit more often. And, he's much more menacing than Lana. When Lana speaks, I don't really feel like Rusev's going to do anything that amazing. It's just like, she's just there. I don't think she's that great of a manager. She's eye candy. I personally think her Russian accent sucks. I'm probably going to get flack for that. Well, I've never thought it was that great. I know everybody thinks she's so good at it, but she overdoes it. Go listen to a real Russian, try to do an American accent, and then watch her, and you'll hear what I'm saying. It's just way too acted. That's just a mini rant. But like I said, I'm not interested in Big Show Rusev. I don't think it's going to be a good match. I don't think that Big Show is going to be able to sell. The biggest thing that Rusev does right now is that leaping super kick. And he could barely hit it on Mark Henry and make it look good. There's no way he's getting it on 7 foot tall and making it look good. Big Show's probably going to drop to his knees with the first one and then take a second one. But I just don't think it's going to look good. That's just me nitpicking. But I don't know. I just think that it's not going to be very good. It's not going to really hold much purpose because people are getting bored with it, so they're not going to care what Rusev does at this point. And it's really diminishing. Like I said, the payoff right now is the same thing with Brock Lesnar. Whoever beats Rusev is going to go over big time. I've always said that I feel like Rusev's next stop is going to be beating Sheamus, and if that's the choice, then I think that would be good. As much as I don't like Sheamus, I think Rusev beating Sheamus for the U.S. Championship is going to be huge because he's got that heat on him still. It's kind of, it's the fire is kind of going out a little bit. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still there. The embers are still burning. All we need to do is blow a little bit of air on it, blow on the members, get them to spark back up and reignite that fire. I think the U.S. Championship could absolutely do that. He wins the U.S. title. Not only does that elevate that title, but it kind of brings him back into the spotlight. And then we could see somebody take it from him. Jack Swagger, Kurt Angle. I know that's been thrown around a lot, and that would be really, really cool. I know Aussie mentions that all the time. Kurt Angle returning. I don't see him returning to win the title. That wouldn't make much sense to me, but I think it would be interesting if he could beat Sheamus. I think that's really the only thing that's going to help him, because Sheamus, whether I like him or not, is still kind of looked at as the tough guy, hard to beat, and they've been kind of building him a little bit. He's beaten Cesaro twice, I think, or one time gonna be twice, and I'm interested to see where Rusev goes after Big Show. But as far as where he is now, I could care less about his match at Night of Champions at Hell in a Cell. Excuse me. Um, that's that's my little spiel on that subject. So we're gonna move on because I'm tired of hearing me talk about it already. I want to quickly touch on a quick rumor that Roman Reigns is going to be making an appearance at the 11th annual Ringside Fest, which is, I guess, this Saturday at Caroline's on Broadway in New York City at Times Square. Now, WWE also put out the statement that Roman Reigns is going to be making a statement on Monday Night Raw this week. Now, it's going to be in the Barclays Center, so he's in New York. He can run right over down there and be right there live. So, they kind of denied the fact that he'll be there live, but if he's going to be in New York City, 2 nights before, then it seems like he'll be there live. If not, he'll definitely be there via satellite. He's going to be there in some shape or form. My problem is this is way too premature, and the fact that they're already having him do appearances, this far out after you book it that Roman Reigns may be out for a huge amount of time, which, if you know anything about hernias, the length of time they gave was completely astronomical and unrealistic. It was way too much time. I mean, he'd be back way before that. But even still, you're booking it as that. So now you got to go with that. If you book it that he's going to be back in 6 to 8 weeks, then he needs to be back in 6 to 8 weeks, no sooner, no later. That's how you're booking it. That is what you're telling us. It's just simple. They're trying to sell the storyline that he's injured and that he's hurt and he'll be back at a certain time. It can be a little bit. Let me retract my statement. It can be later and it can be earlier, but in this particular situation, I think that if anything, it needs to be later, and I don't think it can be earlier, because Roman Reigns needs to stay inactive for a while. He's not ready to be WWE champion, and this is giving opportunities to Ambrose and Rollins that they wouldn't have really gotten before with him in that spotlight. He kind of overshadowed. It's not his fault, but he kind of overshadows because the WWE sees him as the next big thing, the next John Cena, the next big sellout star. And I just don't think he's got the talent enough to do it. I think there are far more guys more talented, not more talented, but that are much more ready to grab that spotlight than he is. He's not ready, I don't think, for the WWE Championship. His mic abilities are weak, and I talk about this all the time. Let him stay out for a while. Stop rushing people back in. See, this is a huge issue I have with the WWE, and it pisses me right the hell off. You freaking guys get injured. Use that. This is basic shit right here. Use that opportunity to get these fucking guys, off TV, out of people's minds. It's a refresher. Stop having goddamn Nikki Bella and Brie Bella coming in and constantly mentioning Daniel Bryan. We don't need to hear his name every 5 minutes because you completely wipe him away from the show until he returns. That return's going to be huge. You don't need to make money off of every single frickin' return. It's ridiculous. Because now you're screwing us fans out of awesome returns. I love it when it's unexpected, but they ruin it. Because they're greedy. And it pisses me off when they do that shit. I mean, this is a great opportunity. It's not good that he got hurt, and I don't ever want want to see anybody get hurt, no matter if I like them or not. I don't want to see them get hurt. But it happens. And when that happens, use the opportunity. Let this guy be out for a while. You don't need to be real and tell them, oh, Roman Reigns got a hernia. Nobody cares what happened. People care how it happened. So make up a story, because nobody's going to know for sure. Nobody's going to track down Roman Reigns unless they're freaking a stalker and they're weird as hell and they're going to track the guy down, try to get his autograph. You know, everybody wants to know how it happened, so make up a story. But of course, creative sucks so bad they can't do that anymore. It's just ridiculous. How did Roman Reigns get hurt? Well, in his last match, he was attacked backstage. And then shoot something after his surgery where you see him lying there backstage. You know, hernia surgery is not going to stop him from lying on the floor. He's going to be doing that anyway. Might as well bring a camera with you and have it done behind the scenes. Set something up. Make it look like he got hurt. That way when he returns, now you have a storyline to build from when he returns. And you're not, you know, picking your ass trying to figure out what the hell to do next. It's ridiculous. It's that simple. I don't understand how these guys can't see that. Give me 5 days, I'll rewrite the entire show for the year. It's just ridiculous. I mean, and then when he does return, you could say Seth Rollins attacked him backstage, and then guess what? You build up Seth Rollins to make him look like a mega heel, and nobody can beat him, and then boom, Roman Reigns returns. Whoa. That's just crazy talk. It's crazy. That would never work. It always works. And then guess what? Your mega star that's not really over anymore with the crowd is gonna get a refresher. It's like hitting the refresh button on your computer. People are gonna be like, I love Roman Reigns. People are going to be buying his shirt again. People are going to be cheering for Seth Rollins as much. People are going to be popping for Roman Reigns. That's what you have to do. It's that simple. A little preemptive, creative work, and you set up a huge new feud for when he returns down the line. And you're not, like I said, you're not, you know, chasing your tail, waiting to figure out what the hell to do next. You got it right in front of you. And then you can build from that. Ooh, what are we going to do next? It's that easy. This should be fun for you guys. It would be fun for me. I would love to write creative. I have so many ideas that would make this show awesome. So many great things to do. It's just ridiculous that they don't take these opportunities because they're trying to be a reality show. And they bring on a goddamn Food Network writer who wrote for Rachel Ray to write wrestling. Tell me how in anybody's mind, how in Vince McMahon, Paul Levesque, and Stephanie McMahon that makes sense to you, that's a great idea. The three people who are the masterminds behind the Attitude Era hire a Food Network writer. Tell me please tell me there's a reasoning behind that actually makes sense regarding wrestling, because to me as a fan, that makes zero sense. The guy is writing a show, by the way. For those of you who didn't know, the Food Network writer, this is a real thing. This ain't just me ranting bullshit. He writes for NXT. He used to write as the head writer for SmackDown, and then they switched the NXT and SmackDown writers. Now the head writer for NXT now is the head writer for SmackDown, and now the head writer for SmackDown is now the head writer for NXT. So the head writer for NXT used to write for Food Network for Rachel Ray. Tell me how that works. This guy has no knowledge base, or woman, I don't even know. And I don't even care. This guy, or female, or it, or other, or alien, doesn't fucking matter, has absolutely no concept of the business, of the product. They know how to write a reality show. That's it. So why are they head writer? Head writer should have knowledge base. This is ridiculous. I mean, all of that from Roman Reigns is making an appearance in New York City. You like that? You like how I can just go on a rant when something clicks on my mind? I'm just ready to punch my fist through my laptop screen and jump out a window? Set myself on fire? Yeah, I get amped up. I'm passionate. I love wrestling. Let's fucking get this thing going. I'm ready to go. Stooges, the Stooges for the Authority. We got Joey Mercury, and we got Jamie Noble, the as Dean Ambrose put it, which is probably my favorite segment on Raw. Uh-oh, they sent the Cruiserweight division out to get me. I don't know about you guys, but that had me dying. I was just, had me in tears. Um, anyway, they're actually looking to utilize them for some reason. I guess that could kind of work. It'd kind of be like the corporation with Jerry Briscoe and Pat Patterson. I think that was who was in the corporation. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. I know Jerry Briscoe was, but I think it was Pat Patterson. Yeah, it was Pat Patterson. Second guessing myself. Psh, I know what I'm talking about. It could be kind of like that, except they're all like old as hell in the corporation, and I mean Mercury and Noble aren't really old. I just think it'd be weird. I mean, they can do it. I mean, I'm not thinking it's the worst thing they could do. It'd be interesting to see how they incorporate them. You know, if you guys have any ideas, you know, we'll do a creative corner segment. I might add that into my show, the creative corner, where I kind of do creative job for them or something like that. We'll do a little corner segment, excuse me. Can't even speak. Creative quarter? What the hell is that? Creative corner segment, where I just let you guys go ape shit in the comments and just really go all out, balls to the wall. You know, do creative job for them, because I'm sure most of you guys could do it way better. Um, we're slowly kind of getting close to the end of the show. This is only a 45-minute show. I kind of want to leave it brief. I know a lot of podcasts go an hour and a half, but I'm really starting to I don't know. I'm just starting out, so I kind of want to gauge what you guys think. So if you think I should go longer, let me know. And if you think that 45 minutes is perfect time, then definitely let me know that as well. And if enough of you would rather me keep it at 45 minutes, then by all means I'll keep it right there. And if you think I should be shorter because you hate what I'm doing, if you think I should be 0 minutes long, then you can take that opinion and shove it straight up your candy ass, because I don't care. No, you can tell me that too. I don't care. But the last topic that I want to touch on, there are a couple more that I wanted to talk about. Like I said, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to hit this big one right on the head. You know, this is what everybody's been waiting for. The Wyatt family is splitting up, according to rumors, and it seems to be true. You know, we had that vignette on Raw regarding Bray and Luke Harper. Luke Harper was broken, and then Bray Wyatt brought him into the family and fixed him. He put him back together piece by piece, and now he's letting him go. And we got to watch out. I don't like this one bit, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, before I get into that, before I forget, I wanted to mention that both Rowan and Harper are going to be leaving Bray. He'll be by himself. And the plan, from what I'm reading, is to have the Ascension partner up with Bray, or become the new members of the Wyatt family. Here's my issue with that. I'm not 100% against it, but right now I'm 100%. Right at this moment I am. The concept is okay. I don't think the Ascension really belongs with Bray. I think that they're established enough on their own, and NXT is becoming such a well-known brand. It's not even developmental anymore. It's its own brand. People watch NXT. So bringing the Ascension into Bray's family, you know, people already know the Ascension. People didn't know Rowan and Harper. So these guys were unknown. That made it work. The Ascension, former tag team, NXT tag team champions, got taken out by Kenta. I mean, people know who these guys are. So it's not going to be that same unknown. These guys, we don't know anything about these guys. We know everything about the Ascension. We know who they are. We know their names. We know what they're about. We've heard them talk on the mic. It's going to be interesting to see how they work this, but I'm not really too happy about that. My real problem with this is the fact that the Wyatts are not ready. They're not ready to be split up. There's not been a good. They have not had a good build. I know a lot of people probably would disagree with that, and I would just say, well, if you disagree with me, then and you don't like my opinion on this, then get your own show, because this is my damn show, and I can say whatever the hell I want. I don't like this. They're not ready to be split up. Luke Harper is going to have an amazing solo career. He's been compared to Bruiser Brody, and like I said on React this week, one hell of a comparison because that is spot on. I'm a huge Bruiser Brody fan, by the way. I love Bruiser Brody. If you haven't seen anything by him, if you don't even know who that is, look him up. You won't regret it. Maybe you will. I don't know if you're going to be into him as much as I am. Love the guy. But Luke Harper's got that mic ability. He can talk on the mic. He's got the skill in the ring. I'm interested to see where he can go solo. That's pretty much why I'm not 100% upset with this, because I do think Luke Harper needs to go solo. However, I just don't think it's time for that yet. The build that this is the build that they've had so far, and it's just ridiculous. This goes back to creative being, a bunch of lazy assholes sitting in their office, just wasting time. What do they do back there? Like, you have all this time. What the hell are you doing? I mean, it makes no sense. You're playing hopscotch? You're playing tic-tac-toe? Seriously, what the hell are you doing? This is the build. Bray Wyatt, they have these vignettes for Bray Wyatt. Awesome. Really pumped for this guy. He debuts. This guy is really good. He can cut a sick promo. He has his first match. Alright, not terrible in the ring. His first match was against Kane. He took out a few other guys before. They really built him up in the beginning. He goes to main event and he takes out 3MB when that was still actually a thing. And then takes out R-Truth multiple times. He beats Kane in a really crappy Inferno match. Kane's fault, not Bray's. Then he goes on and has all of these kind of confusing matches with the Shield, because he beats him twice, but then loses to him when they flip-flopped between who do we want to build more, the Shield or Bray, and they kind of went more with the Shield towards the end, and I feel like that really hurt Bray, because then he goes in, his build has been flip-floppy. He gets a push, and I'm not gonna say he got buried, but then he gets taken down a notch again, and it just gets confusing. He beats Daniel Bryan in an extremely convincing fashion. I liked that build. I know people were really pissed off, because that was the Royal Rumble that Daniel Bryan was supposed to be an entrant in. He wasn't supposed to, but people thought he was going to, and got their hopes up, and Batista wins and automatically becomes a heel. Not the best Royal Rumble, but one of the most memorable, for sure. And that was the match that stole the show because of Bray. Daniel Bryan too. I'm not taking away from him, but I mean, I'm a huge Bray Wyatt mark. Can you tell? But he beats him in this confession, which I thought was good because it was unexpected. I really thought Daniel Bryan was going to win, but they had so much stock in Bray, and they're like, this guy's really going to make it, so they put him over. He continues on this trend, beats the Shield, sort of. Then I think the last two matches that the Wyatt family had with the Shield, they lost. And then he has that rivalry with Cena, which he pretty much loses every single match with Cena. Beat him once, and it was because of a distraction by a little kid. He out-creepied him, or you know what I'm saying? He out-weirded John Cena. And that's how he won, that weird kid. And then, he loses. His last match, he kind of loses. It was kind of an okay way to lose. His matches with John Cena, I know a lot of people are pissed off about this, and I read it all the time. People are really, really mad. John Cena buried him. No, not necessarily, because I feel like the last match that they had, where he put Bray through the case and then puts the speaker on top or whatever it was. I forget exactly what he put on top and then stood on it so Bray couldn't get out. That almost to me symbolized like Bray is unstoppable and this is the only way I can beat him, which in a way was kind of a push even though he lost. Thought it was the best way to go about doing it. You know, they're trying to build Cena and they're trying to build Bray. Thought that was a good way to write that. So I give creative kudos on that. However, it's only successful if you follow up. He doesn't show up on Raw the next Monday. Perfect, selling that injury. Loved it. But then they don't follow up with it. You kind of lose him in the mix. Bray Wyatt's kind of here and there. You know, then they split up the Wyatt family. I mean, come on, that was a mistake to begin with. Rowan and Harper become a tag team, and they literally, you know, leave Bray Wyatt in their shadow. He should have come to every one of their matches. They're his children, and you can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes, children. You know, his family. He should have been at every one of those matches. They should have come out to his theme song. They should have never gotten new theme songs. It's not time for that. I was so pissed off when that happened. Because, first of all, not only should they not get them, the theme songs sucked. They were not good. That theme song, the frickin' like frickin', I was thinking like Josh Matthews or like, you know, Vince McMahon is like playing a harmonica backstage. It's what it sounded like. It was just garbage. And some kids singing, the choir. It was just, no. Because then they become separate entities from Bray. You can't do that. That was a complete screw up on the part of creative. Terrible idea. Completely ruined everything at that point. That's when it started going downhill for me. They completely ruined it because then you take Bray out of the equation. You know, and then you decide, you know what, this guy's money, you know, we need to start bringing him back. Jericho wants to put him over. So you bring Jericho back. Awesome. They had their first match at Money in the Bank. Not the greatest match. And I kind of put some of that on Jericho, and I'm not trying to be like Bray's perfect. But Jericho looked a little bit rusty. That's understandable. Wasn't even that upset about it. No big deal. Because the real match needs to take place at SummerSlam. That's the match that needs to get over at. And we all knew that. He does. He gets over at SummerSlam. Beautiful. Awesome match. Did a great job. Great storytelling. Gets him over. Perfect. And, you know, the promos leading up to it, I felt really put him over the most. Jericho's promos, to be more exact. Bray's are always great, but Jericho did a great job at selling that. You know, he came back and his first match was, you know, he's that goofy, energetic, you know, guy that he always is, making jokes and stuff. And then he faces Bray at Money in the Bank. And this is what I got from their matches. Not only did Bray Wyatt Bray Wyatt lost, but Jericho sold it in such a way that it made it seem like I may have won this match, but I really didn't feel like I won. This guy's a dangerous guy, and I need to take him out. Like that match, even though he won the match, he still felt like Bray Wyatt still hadn't been defeated. And he translated that through his mic work, and that really sold this next match. And you know, that one promo they had backstage where it was kind of an interview. They were sitting face to face. Bray cut that promo, and Jericho almost changed his promo style, which is what I love about Jericho. That guy can cut any kind of promo he wants. He changed his cadence to from being the jokester to being extremely serious, because he knew that also translated to me, the viewer, Jericho needs to take this guy seriously. And I was pumped. He puts him over at SummerSlam, and then I don't remember if it was the following night. I think it was the following night on Raw, or 2 nights after SummerSlam, 2 Raws after SummerSlam. He faces Bray Wyatt again, this time in a cage, which a lot of people weren't too excited about. I was okay with it. I figured, you know what, he's going to put him over one last time and make it really solidify. Final. Puts him over. He beats him again. You know, no question that he beat him. Done deal. Jericho's gone. And then we don't see Bray Wyatt again. And on top of not seeing Bray Wyatt again, he's not at Night of Champions. Really? He spent all of this time bringing Jericho back off of tour to put a guy over that you're not even going to follow up on. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I can take that back, creative. You did follow up. Not only did you follow up, you fucked up. You put him in the ring with Big Show, and you had him get disqualified. Yeah, that makes him look real good. And then you don't even follow up on that storyline. You start a storyline the night before a pay-per-view that you don't even follow up on. That makes zero sense. You confuse the shit out of people because none of you know what you're doing. It's appalling to me that these people are writing a show. You should not be writing a show. You shouldn't even be allowed... I'm trying to think of like the easiest job there is. Whatever it is, I can't think right now because I'm so pissed off, but whatever the hell that easiest job is, you should not be allowed to do it. You shouldn't be able to pick up dog shit at a dog park. I don't think you could even do that right. It's like monkeys, you know, literally, I really do think there's monkeys sitting behind computers. It's the only logical sense that I can make. You start a rivalry after you put a guy over twice. Not just once, twice, which tells me as the viewer, this guy means something because you're putting him over twice. Comes back onto Raw 2 nights later to get in the ring and get disqualified with the Big Show. Only to not have him on TV again until this recent Monday Night Raw, where you're going to split up the Wyatt family. Why? It makes no sense. There's been no build. Every build has been followed by an absolute drop in character. We have not seen promos by Bray. People are forgetting about it. There's so much other stuff going on right now that people aren't really... You know, the Vignette was awesome. It was great. It kind of brought me back. But I just don't think they're ready to do that. And Harper is going to make a great solo. But Rowan doesn't have the talent to be on his own. He's going to be lost. There's no room for him anywhere on that roster. He's not that great. He throws his body around in the ring. And he cuts subpar promos. I mean, he's not that great. Luke Harper is much better. And, you know, Bray can stand on his own, but I just feel like his character needs a family behind him. And, I mean, I'm willing to give the Ascension a chance to see, you know, what they can do, but I just think that there's not enough. Another issue I'm having is there's not enough, there aren't really any teams in the tag team division. It's so scarce right now. They cannot afford to hold this other tag team back. I mean, I think it could work out, but I kind of would just rather see the Ascension by themselves. I think that we need a couple unknown guys. You know, they're already over. They don't really need Bray. That's just it. They don't need him. They're already over. So bring 2 guys up from the developmental roster, put them on Bray to help get them over. You know, if you just brought Luke Harper over, I mean, yeah, I'm sure he would have got over, but would it be as effective? Now they know who Luke Harper is. You know who he is. People know who the Ascension is. We watch NXT. You're insulting our intelligence by acting like we don't know this stuff, like we don't watch the product. Granted, there are people who don't watch NXT, but that's because they don't want to pay $9.99 for the network, which, by the way, is ridiculous. If you don't get the network, that's understandable, but it's $9.99. I'm going to steal this from Aussie because it's 100% true. Stop going to Subway. You know, skip Subway twice a week. Skip McDonald's once or twice a week. There you go. You can afford the network for a month at $10. You know, I work and I make nothing, and I still can afford the network. It's $10. You know, I'm not broke, but I'm not rich. But I can afford the network. It's only $9.99, and the content isn't that bad. For $10, you're getting all the pay-per-views. It's so much cheaper, and the streams aren't that bad. That was my little rant on the WWE Network. You're going to get these every time you watch Before the Bell. I'm telling you. But bottom line is, and I'm going to end this because we're really, really running into overtime, the Wyatts are not ready to be split up yet. I don't think that Bray has been built up enough. Bray himself has, but the family hasn't, if that makes sense to you guys. You know, as a whole, there's been so much up and down between the entire family that there's no cohesiveness. It just seems weird that after building up Bray like that, they're going to just, you know, drop him out of the picture for a while. Then when he finally makes his reappearance back on TV, the Wyatt family is just going to split up. It's just weird. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. I think it's a waste. I think you should have given it a little bit more time, built him up over the next few pay-per-views, and then have a split. Have him let them go. Then bring 2 new guys, fresh guys from NXT, who are unknown, over to him. Because if you bring 2 guys who are unknown, what's the point? We know who these guys are. They're not necessary. Could be okay, but I don't know. Just not interested in it at this point in time. I think they really jumped the gun with this. And I'm interested to know what you think about this and any topic that I talked about. Really interested to know what you guys think. Like I said, this is for the fans, by the fans, forever and always. Just like the website, ropebreakwrestling.com, for the fans, by the fans. You can always contact me here on YouTube. You can always find me on Twitter at ropebreakwrestling, at Real Matt Donato, on Facebook.com/ropebreakwrestling. Like, share, subscribe, and come and find me. I'll leave all those links in the description, so that way you can just click on it and go. And you guys need to, really start coming over to the Rope Break lifestyle. I say this every week. First and foremost, if you got friends who don't know about Rope Break, if you yourself didn't know about Rope Break because you have neglectful friends, then that's the bottom line. If you're not telling your friends about Rope Break, you're a terrible friend. You're allowing them, you're forcing them to have to sit ringside, to have to sit in the bleachers, to have to sit cage side. That's not fair. I think if you have been an avid rope breaker for a while, then I think you know by now. And if you don't know, then I'm going to tell you that if you're not living the rope break lifestyle, then you're not really living. And the best way to live is in the ring with rope break. That's the best place to be. Not cage side, not in the bleachers, not ringside. In the ring with rope break. It's that simple. So join the lifestyle. Learn to live. You deserve it. You deserve to learn to live. You're a great person. You, whoever you are listening. You deserve to learn to live properly and be happy. Rope Break will give you that happiness. We do everything. Listen, guys, we do podcasts. We got the Sharpshoot airing every single Thursday featuring Aussie, one of the best shows on YouTube. I'm not even saying that to be biased. Listen, to my true honesty right now, I literally watched the show as a fan. It's that awesome of a show. He just revamped it completely. It looks so great. Go check it out. I literally do. When I'm at work and I have downtime, I watch the Sharpshoot with Aussie, and I love it. We also have React After Raw every single Monday night. It'll air. We'll put it up on Facebook. So if you're not following us on Facebook, then you're never going to know when to watch. So follow us on Facebook. It's one quick click, and you're in. That should be our freaking... Look at me. That should be our freaking slogan right there. One quick click, and you're in. Done. Man, I'm good. Yeah, like us on Facebook and on Twitter so you can always keep up to date on all of our podcasts. Keep up to date on Before the Bell. If you liked what you heard, then keep listening and let me know that you liked it. I really appreciate all the feedback, all the criticism. If you didn't like something I did, if you didn't like the way I talked about things, if you disagree with me, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. If you have questions that you want answered on this show, then let me know. I'll before next week, I got to remember to do this. I'll throw it up on Facebook and ask for your questions. That way I can start answering some questions regarding the WWE, news, rumors, all that kind of good stuff. And if you haven't heard, you're going to hear right now, we do giveaways here on Rope Break. And we have an announcement to make that we already made on Facebook. And like I said, see, if you're not following us on Facebook right now, you are completely missing out because you would have known by now about this awesome giveaway. But I'm going to be a nice guy and tell you about it anyway. Rope Break Wrestling is giving away, if we reach 3,000 likes on Facebook, we are going to be giving away for our Survivor Series giveaway. We always do giveaways, guys. Let me tell you about some of the stuff that I'm gonna leave you in anticipation, because what we're giving away at Survivor Series is the biggest giveaway we have ever done. Period. And we love doing these giveaways for you guys. For SummerSlam, we gave away the biggest prize that we gave away for SummerSlam was a brand new copy of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman, the Paul Heyman DVD. We gave away an autographed photo of Kurt Angle. We gave away we gave a couple action figures away. We gave away we gave away a rock slingshot. We gave away a cup. We gave away a couple drawings. We gave away all kinds of stuff. For WrestleMania, we gave away something like 4 or 5 DVDs, a t-shirt, a poster. We gave away like 4 or 5 action figures in the box ready to go for WrestleMania. And you can actually go to our website, ropebreakwrestling.com, and kind of scroll down all the way to the bottom, and you'll see some of those pictures posted. Not all of them have been posted yet, and I say yet because I'm going to try to get those up there. And you can check our photos on Facebook. You should see a bunch more up there as well. But now what you've all been waiting for, the reveal, if you haven't already seen it on Facebook, about this awesome prize we're giving away for Survivor Series. If we get 3,000 likes on Facebook by Survivor Series, so we got some time. So like I said, bring your friends into the lifestyle. Get them to like the page. Share what we're doing. Share all of our stuff. And you're going to be entered to win. Drumroll, please. I know, just get with the goddamn program already. Just tell us what we're getting so we can shut this off and get on with our lives. We are giving away a copy of WWE 2K15 for the console of your choice. If you win the giveaway, that is what you're getting. I'll repeat it. A brand new copy, brand new, not open copy of WWE 2K15 for the console of your choice. So if you win, you will have the choice, and you can pick, do you want it for the PS4? Do you want it for the Xbox One? Maybe you want it for the PS3 or Xbox 360. It's up to you. Your choice. You pick the console. We'll get the game. We'll ship it straight to your house, free of charge. Costs you absolutely nothing. All you have to do is get your friends over to like the Facebook page, get us up to 3,000, and the contest will begin. And that's really all there is to it. If you want to keep up on all things Rope Break, and you want to keep an eye on this contest, hell, if I wasn't a part of Rope Break Wrestling right now, I'd be keeping an eye on this contest. That's just me. I would want to win a free copy of 2K15. Who wouldn't? It's free. And all you have to do is click like on a page, click follow on another. Really? That's all you got to do. You want to keep updated, like I said before, twitter.com/ropebreakwrestling, facebook.com/ropebreakwrestling, and as always, you can find me on my personal account if you ever need to ask me a question WWE related you want to talk about before the bell, at Real Matt Donato. You can find me at any one of those social media places. I'll leave the description, or I'll leave the links in the description rather, so that you can find me. And once again, we are going way into overtime. This is only supposed to be 45 minutes. I went in a little bit past an hour. I apologize, guys. If you like it to be an hour long, if you want it to be 45 minutes, if you want to tell me how much you hate me, then leave a comment. Find me on any of those links in the description. And just yell at me. I don't care. I don't give a damn. For ropebreakwrestling.com, and for all you rope breakers out there, this has been Before the Bell, episode number 3. Like I said before, you can check 2 and 1 out on YouTube right after this ends, or you can end it right now if you want. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys had a hell of a time. I sure as hell did. Got a lot of stuff off my chest. So I'll see you guys next week, right back here, same time, same place.